the brown sugar sitting in your kitchen right now is a lie. And I can prove it in 10 seconds. You probably buy brown sugar because you think it's healthier than white sugar, more natural, less refined. Maybe you even reach for the darker bag over the light one because darker feels raw, closer to the plant, better for you. But the truth is almost the exact opposite of what you believe. It isn't raw, it isn't unrefined, it isn't one single step closer to nature than the white sugar you already own. It's white table sugar, stripped and bleached bone white inside a factory, then painted brown with a quick spray of molasses on a high-speed production line. 8 out of 10 bags on the shelf are made this exact way. Yours is almost certainly one of them. Sold to you with a sunny sugarcane field printed on the front and not one single word about the spray nozzle on the back. That photograph of the field is the closest that sugar ever got to a farm. Over the next several minutes here at Consumer Alert, I'll name the 8 household brands that fail this audit, the 4 that quietly pass it, and 2 simple kitchen tests that catch a fake instantly. And by the end you'll be able to read a single line on the back of any bag and know exactly what you're holding in your hand. Once you see it, you can never unsee it again. Let's start the countdown. Number 8. Domino Light and Dark Brown Sugar. Domino is the original fake, the one every other brand copies. So it's the perfect place to start, because once you understand Domino, you understand all 8 of them. Here is its one crime. There is no brown sugar in this bag. There's white sugar and there's a coat of molasses sprayed on the outside. Light brown gets a thin coat, dark brown gets a thicker one. The same white crystal sits underneath both of them. The only thing you're choosing between is how much paint they used. That's it. That's the entire product. Now here's what that does inside your kitchen. The molasses is sitting on the surface, not worked right into the sugar itself, so when you cream it into cookie dough, it gives you sweetness but almost none of the deep toffee-like richness that real brown sugar brings. Think about the best cookie you've ever had in your life. That warm, almost caramel note underneath the sweetness. That note comes from molasses carried through the whole grain. A surface coat simply can't deliver it, so your cookies turn out sweet but flat, with that faint feeling that something's missing, a flavor you can never quite place. This is exactly where that missing flavor comes from. Why to skip it? It's white sugar wearing a brown coat. It bakes flat, sweet cookies with no real depth, and you pay a natural price for a factory product. Number 7. C&H Golden Brown Sugar. The next one gets you twice, and you never even notice either time. Picture the moment. You've had a run of disappointing bags. The sugar keeps going hard. The cookies keep coming out flat, and you finally decide you're done with your usual brand. You walk the aisle, you spot C&H. Different name, different colors, a whole different heritage printed on the label, and you think, there we go, something better at last. Into the cart it goes, and you feel like you've solved the problem. The crime? You didn't switch anything. Domino and C&H are the same company, owned by the same parent group, made the same way, in the same kind of plant. The logo changed, the product did not. You performed the entire ritual of switching brands. The frustration, the decision, the fresh start, and you walked out with the exact same sugar wearing a different costume. That's what makes C&H worth calling out on its own. It sells you the feeling of escaping the trick, which is exactly how the trick keeps working on you. The most expensive brand switch of all is the one that isn't a switch at all. Why to skip it? Same company and same process as Domino. You feel like you upgraded, but nothing changed. It simply sells the illusion of a fresh start. Number 6. Great Value Walmart Brown Sugar. You've probably wrestled with this brand using your own bare hands. It's one real crime. This might not even be sugarcane at all. Store brands buy whatever's cheapest that week, and about half of America's sugar comes from a totally different plant, the sugar beet. Beet molasses tastes bad, so they can't paint with it. Instead, they bleach the beet sugar bright white, then coat it with cane molasses shipped in from somewhere else entirely. So that sugarcane picture on the front, sometimes there's no cane in the bag at all. It's beets wearing a cane costume. Then comes the part you already know too well, the brick. Leave this bag open for a week and it sets like solid concrete. The kind you have to stab with a knife, whack against the counter, or microwave just to break a single spoonful loose. That happens because the moisture lives only in the thin coat on the outside. The second that surface dries out, the whole bag locks up solid. Real brown sugar, where the molasses runs all the way through the grain, holds its moisture from the inside and stays soft and scoopable for months on end. If you've ever thrown out half a rock-hard bag, you weren't being careless. You were paying for the factory shortcut. Why to skip it? Maybe beet sugar dressed up as cane, and it turns into a rock-hard brick within days. You're just buying whichever supplier bid lowest that week. Number 5. Kroger brown sugar. Look at Kroger's sugar in the bag and it seems flawless. Perfectly even, fine, identical crystals. That flawlessness feels premium, but it's actually the warning sign. The crime here. You have no idea what you're eating. This is mass-market commodity sugar, grown on enormous single-crop farms and processed at industrial scale, and the label tells you nothing. Not where the cane grew, not what bleached it white, not a single fact you could ever check. Here's the concrete cost of that blank label. Because the supply is anonymous and always rotating to the cheapest source, the sugar isn't the same from one bag to the next, and neither is how it behaves. One bag creams soft and bakes just fine. The next one, same label, same price, comes home dry and grainy, and turns your cookies out thin and crisp when you wanted them chewy. You can't plan around it because you can't see what's coming. Imagine cooking every single meal with a spice jar that has no label on it. You'd never know what you're about to get until it's already in the food. That is a Kroger bag, a mystery ingredient you eat by the spoonful every single day and never once get to inspect. Why to skip it? A blank label on a daily food. It behaves differently from one bag to the next. A mystery ingredient you simply cannot inspect. So that's the top half of the blacklist. 4 household names: Domino, C&H, Great Value, and Kroger. And here's the question that should be nagging at you right now. Why do they all pull the exact same trick? Who decided that brown sugar should be made this way in the first place? To answer that, I have to take you off the shelf and onto the factory floor, because the deception isn't in any one single brand. It's built into the machine itself. Now stop, pause right here for 1 second. The factory secret. Here's the fact that flips everything you thought you knew upside down. Brown sugar isn't made before white sugar, it's made after it. The factory makes perfectly white sugar first, and then it paints it brown, which means the brown sugar you thought was less processed is actually more processed. It's white sugar, plus an extra step on top. Here's how it happens, in 3 simple steps. Step 1. They kill the plant. They boil the sugarcane juice down under heat and pressure until it turns into crystals, then spin it in a machine to fling out the molasses. The natural minerals the plant carried, iron, potassium, magnesium, all get thrown out right along with it. What's left is nearly pure white sugar, clean and completely empty. Step 2. They bleach it. The crystals still have a faint tan tint, and the factory wants them pure white, a blank canvas to paint on. Here's the detail that stops people cold. In a lot of American sugar, the filter that whitens it is made from bone char, literally charred, ground-up cattle bone. The sugar water trickles down through towers packed with it. That's why some vegans won't touch regular sugar, and it's why the honest brands go out of their way to print no bone char on the bag. When a company stays completely silent about it, that silence is its own answer. Step 3. They paint it. This is the part no label ever mentions. They spray the molasses back onto the outside of that white crystal. A thin coat gives you light, a thicker coat gives you dark. Same crystal every single time, just more paint. Quick gut check. Remember that rock-hard Great Value brick you have to stab with a knife? Now you know exactly why the moisture was never inside the sugar. It sat in a thin coat on the surface. That coat dries out, and the whole bag turns to stone. It's the factory method failing right there on your own counter. So why do it? One word: control. Real sugar shifts with the weather, so no 2 batches ever match. Strip every crystal white, spray on an identical coat, and every bag in the entire country looks exactly the same. It's about the machine, not about your health. Number 4. Market Pantry, Target brown sugar. Every single time you buy Target's store brand, it looks identical. Same bag, same barcode, same price. But that sameness is a mask. It's one crime. The sugar inside keeps changing. Store brands like this one are bought on short contracts, always chasing the lowest price, so this month's supplier may be gone by next season. The bag on the shelf stays frozen while the sugar behind it quietly swaps out. Sometimes from a completely different country, a different plant, a different process altogether. That's a real problem in your kitchen. Your recipe stops being reliable. A batch of cookies that came out perfect in the spring can come out wrong in the fall from the very same bag because it isn't the same sugar anymore. Different moisture, different melt, different spread. And here's the cruel part, you'll blame yourself. You'll think you mismeasured, or the oven ran hot, or you somehow lost your touch, when the real culprit is a sugar supplier you never knew had changed. A staple that won't behave the same way twice quietly makes you the unreliable one. And for a baker, that's the worst thing a bag of sugar can possibly do. Why to skip it? The sugar inside changes without any warning. Your reliable recipe suddenly bakes wrong, and you blame yourself for the bag's inconsistency. Number 3. Signature Select, Albertsons and Safeway Brown Sugar. Open a bag of Signature Select that's been sitting in the pantry a while, and you'll sometimes find a nasty little surprise waiting for you at the bottom. The crime. The coating leaks. Because the molasses is a layer sitting on the outside of the crystal instead of being built into it. Over time it starts to weep and drain. A sticky, syrupy sludge pooling at the very bottom of the bag. Food scientists even have a name for this separating and pooling. They call it syneresis. But you don't need the fancy word. You just need to have reached into a bag once and pulled your hand back out coated in goo. Here's the consequence. You can't measure it accurately anymore. Once the molasses has drained downward, the sugar at the top of the bag is drier than it should be, and the bottom is a wet, heavy clump. A level cup scooped from the top and a level cup scooped from the bottom are now genuinely different ingredients. Different sweetness, different moisture, different weight. So the same recipe from the same exact bag gives you different results depending on how far down you happen to dig that day. Baking is chemistry, and this is a bag that flat out refuses to hold still long enough for you to measure it. Why to skip it? The coating leaks into a sticky sludge. Top and bottom of the bag measure differently, and the same bag gives you different results every time. Number 2. Imperial Sugar Dark Brown. Notice the color on this one first, because the color is the whole trick, and once you see it you'll start catching it on shelves everywhere. It's one crime. It sells dark color as if it means quality. Imperial's bag is deep, almost black, and your brain instantly reads that as richer, rawer, more wholesome, more nutritious. It's a shortcut your eyes make automatically, without you ever asking them to. But on a painted sugar, dark doesn't mean closer to the plant. Dark just means more paint, a heavier coat of the very same molasses over the very same bleached white crystal. You're not paying extra for a better sugar, you're paying extra for a thicker coat of coating. And in the kitchen, that heavy surface coat is also the first thing to burn, because the color sits on the outside of each grain. It scorches and turns bitter under heat before the white core inside has even started to melt, leaving your caramel, your glaze, or your topping with a faint burnt acid edge to it. So the bag that looked the richest and most premium sitting on the shelf can actually cook the worst of the entire lot. Darker looked better. Darker behaves worse. Why to skip it? Dark color is just extra paint, not extra quality. You pay a premium for more coating, and that heavy coat scorches and turns bitter first. Number 1. Dixie Crystal's Dark Brown. And at number 1, the most convincing fake of them all. Not the most chemical one, the most believable one. Its final crime. The softness is a trick. Pick up the bag and it feels absolutely perfect. Soft, moist, pillowy, exactly what real brown sugar is supposed to feel like in your hand. But that feel is engineered. They use a moisture trick, a special ingredient that holds dampness on the surface to make a painted crystal feel authentic. And feel is the one test that most people trust above all else. It's the sugar most likely to make an experienced baker squeeze the bag and say, no, this one's the real stuff, just feel how soft it is. But underneath that lovely soft coat is the exact same bleached white crystal as every other bag on this entire list, giving you the same flat sweetness and the same plain sugar behavior. That's what earns Dixie the top spot. The others fool people who aren't paying attention. Dixie fools the people who are, the careful ones, the ones who squeeze and inspect and genuinely think they know better than everyone else. The feel says farmhouse, the crystal says factory, and the feel is exactly what they engineered you to trust. Why to skip it? The soft, moist feel is engineered, not real. It fools even careful, experienced bakers. And it's the same flat crystal as everything else on this list. So that's the full blacklist. 8 household names, 8 different disguises, flat flavor, a fake brand switch, a rock-hard brick, a blank label, a changing recipe, a leaking coating, a color trick, a softness trick. But one thing sits underneath every single one of them. A bleached white crystal wearing a coat of molasses, and a photo of a field it never once grew in. You don't have to take my word for any of it though. Everything I just described, you can catch red-handed in your own kitchen, with 2 simple tests and about a minute of your time. Let me show you the 2 easy home tests. Test 1, the water test. Drop a spoonful of your brown sugar into a clear glass of cold water and gently swirl it for 10 seconds. A painted sugar gives itself away instantly. The coat dissolves, the water turns muddy brown, and pale, almost white crystals sink straight to the bottom. That's the white sugar hiding under the paint, revealed right there in your own glass. Real sugar does the exact opposite. It dissolves slowly and stays brown right down to the core, because the color runs through the whole crystal, not just the shell. One washes its color off like a cheap dye, the other stays true. Watch a premium dark brown go pale in a single glass, and it will change the way you shop for good. Test 2, the skillet test. Sprinkle half a teaspoon onto a dry pan over low heat and just watch it melt. A painted sugar is really 2 things at once, a molasses skin and a white core. So the skin burns first, throwing off little wisps of smoke and black specks, while the middle stubbornly refuses to melt. Real sugar is one single material, so it flows together smoothly into a glossy golden caramel that smells like pure butterscotch, with no burnt edge and no bitterness anywhere. This is the same exact failure that ruins caramel with the cheap brands. You're just watching it happen in fast forward. The water shows you the paint, the heat shows you the plant. 2 tests, 1 truth, and now you know what real is supposed to look like. So let's meet the 4 brands that actually deliver it. 4 brands that pass. These 4 aren't white sugar in a costume. They're the real plant kept whole. Number 4, Florida Crystals, organic raw brown sugar, grown right here in the USA, in Palm Beach County, Florida. Its color isn't sprayed on, it's made in a single step, straight from evaporated organic cane juice. So the golden brown is locked into the crystal from the very start. Never bleached, never run through bone char, never painted. It's organic, non-GMO, and this part really matters. The company states plainly on the label that it uses no bone char. Remember the pattern. The brands that skip the bone char are proud to say so, and the ones that use it stay silent. In your kitchen, that real built-in molasses gives you actual flavor to bake with, not just empty sweetness. Why to choose it? Made in the USA, fully traceable, organic and non-GMO, clearly labeled, and the color is built into the crystal, never sprayed on. Number 3, wholesome organic fair trade dark brown sugar. Honest work shows here. Wholesome blends unbleached organic cane sugar with real organic molasses, so the molasses soaks into the crystal instead of sitting on top of it. That one difference fixes almost everything the blacklist got wrong. Because the flavor is built in, it won't wash off in water, drain to the bottom of the bag, or scorch off in the pan. No synthetic pesticides, no bone char, and it's fair trade sourced, so the farmers who grew it are paid properly. Bake with it once, and the smell alone, that deep, warm, real caramel rising out of the bowl, tells you everything you need to know. Why to choose it? The molasses soaks in, so the flavor stays put. No synthetic pesticides, no bone char, and fair trade, so the farmers are paid fairly. Number 2. India Tree Dark Muscovado. Now the real artisan stuff. Muscovado comes from the rich volcanic soil of Mauritius, and it's made the old, slow way. The cane juice is gently boiled down in open pans and left to cool on its own. It's never spun in a machine to strip the molasses out, so everything the plant had stays exactly where it started. That's why Muscovado is dark all the way through, damp and almost fudge-like in your hand. A texture no painted sugar could ever fake, because you simply cannot spray that on. Run the water test on this one, and it holds its color right down to the core, because there's nothing hidden inside it. This is the real thing that every single fake on the blacklist is quietly trying to imitate. Why to choose it? Rich Mauritius soil gives it deep flavor. A soft, fudge-like texture no fake can copy. Made the slow, traditional way, and never stripped. Number 1. Panela Whole Cane Sugar, from Nativa Organics and traditional brands. Here's the gold standard, Panela. It's made in small batches at traditional South American mills that have worked the exact same way for generations. Fresh cane juice is simply dried at low heat. No spinning, no bleaching, no refining. Nothing removed and nothing added. What you get is the whole sugar cane plant. The sugar, the molasses, the minerals, and the plant's full natural character, exactly as it came out of the field. There's no factory step between the cane and your kitchen, because there's no factory in the story at all. It's still sugar and you should still use it sparingly, but it's honest, whole, and completely real. Number 1. No contest. Why to choose it? The whole plant, nothing taken out. Dried gently at low heat, never refined. Made the same honest way for generations. The 10-second grocery rule. 4 real brands, 8 costumes. And now you can tell them apart in the time it takes to pick up a single bag. Next time you're standing in the aisle, ignore the front of the package completely. That sunny sugarcane photo is just marketing. Flip it over and run 3 quick checks. 1. Read the ingredients. If it lists sugar and molasses as 2 separate things, that's painted sugar. Put it back. If it says just one single thing, organic whole cane sugar, muscovado, or panela, that's the real plant. 2. Look for the magic words. Unrefined, muscovado, panela, or whole cane. Those are hard to fake, and they mean something real. 3. Look for no bone char, or an organic seal. The honest brands say it proudly. The fakes stay silent, and now you know exactly what that silence means. Ingredients, keywords, seal, 10 seconds. Do it once and it becomes completely automatic. You'll spot a painted bag from clear across the aisle for the rest of your life. And you'll never again pay a natural price for a factory shortcut. So the next time someone reaches for the bag with the sunny field printed on the front, you'll know exactly what's hiding inside it. And no factory spray nozzle will ever fool you again. Here at Consumer Alert, I'll see you at the next audit.